What's good, everyone? Check this tech here. In this video I'm going to show you how to speed up and optimize your Galaxy S8 or S8 Plus. Alright, so the first thing you want to do is head over to your settings. From your settings, go to About Phone. From About Phone, go to Build Number. Tap this about several times. You'll see something about developer mode. From this, go to Developer Options. Now before I click on it, you're probably thinking, I've seen this in so many other videos, you're just changing the window animation scale so it looks faster. Yeah, that is what I'm doing, but there's one other thing you're going to want to change in here. Some people don't show you this. So as you can see, I'm at 1x, 1x, 1x from your window animation, transition animation, animator. Now for those of you who don't know what this is, basically when I press my home button, you see that slight animation. And it makes the phone look like it runs a little bit smoother. For people like me, I like things a little bit snappier so I can get my things done, whatever I'm doing. So if you turn this all to off or 0.5, you're going to see how this looks. Let me turn this off. Alright, these two are off. Now take a look when I press my home button. It was very snappy, very instant. That's how I like things to be running on my device. Now here's the next thing. Here are the two things that people usually don't really show you. And now on this device specifically, other devices you could change this, but it looks really good on this device. This is why I'm showing you this. The Galaxy S8 and S8 Plus have some beautiful screens, alright? I'm going to tell you this right now. But some people don't like to up the screen resolution because it may kill battery and it may lessen the performance on your device. If you see this right here, minimum width, this is usually to set about, I would say like 400. If you change this to 449, now I'm going to do, let's say 400, alright? Let's do 400, press OK. Take a look at the device. Now you see how everything got a little bit bigger? Alright, set this to 449. You probably set something around 400. Set this to 449, alright? Now, you may be thinking, why not 450? Well, if you do 450, it's going to automatically set to 449. So let's just do 449. Press OK. Everything gets a little bit smaller. Now, how may this benefit you? I've noticed that when you're looking at pictures, it looks a little bit clearer. It looks a little bit bigger. It makes it look better on the device itself. When you're watching certain videos, maybe on YouTube 1440p video, it looks much better, especially when you have a brightness all the way up. So you want to do something, leave it on 449. It looks really good on the device if you ask me, especially with wallpapers. Now the next thing in developer options, you're going to see force GPU rendering. Use 2D hardware acceleration. Now for some people, I don't know if it's not a lot of people out there that have done this, but if you rooted your Galaxy S7 Edge, it uses a engineering boot method for the Snapdragon version. Now because the root was not stable whatsoever, people turn this on so the phone runs better. It uses 2D hardware instead of 3D hardware for your GPU, and overall helps your system run a little bit smoother. Now it does waste a little bit of battery. It maybe not really. For me, it doesn't make a big difference. I get a amazing, phenomenal battery on this S8 Plus, and this is a Snapdragon version. So that's it for the developer options. On to the next tip. Now this is the next tip. Now I know before I'm even gonna go into this, I know some people are against installing things on your device to help it run better, but I'm gonna tell you right now, this application right here, Greenify. I'm against installing apps to help my phone run better, but this app Greenify, you need to install it. It helps your phone run a lot smoother. I'm going to go into it if you don't know what it is. Greenify. Basically, it puts all your applications into hibernation. What that means is once you open an application such as, let's say, let's do AMOLED Pro. So I'm going to open it up right over here. This is just a wallpaper application, alright? AMOLED Pro. So now as you can see, it's running. So if I clear this and I go back to Greenify, alright, the AMOLED Pro application, even though I clear the application itself, there still are background services running. And as you can see, pending manual hibernation. If we go to right here, AMOLED Pro, it says no need to hibernate, but I was just, it says background free. There's no background processes running. There's some apps that don't have background processes, but these apps right here, as you can tell, they have background processes, and when they're, when your screen's off, all these apps that I just said right there, they're all running in the background of your device, and this is why your battery drains when it's idle. People don't like that. People don't understand why the device drains. This application is ad-free. Now, this video is not sponsored whatsoever by Greenify. I personally use this on a daily basis. Only con about it is that anytime you open any of these applications, you have to come manually hibernated. You have to press that button right there, and look, it force stops all the apps. It's not clearing the cache. It's not clearing the application's data. So when you reopen it, you don't have to reset up anything. It's just force stopping the app so that the background services aren't running. Now, of course, can you do this yourself? Yes, technically you can. But did you just see how fast that just went through, that whole thing? It went through extremely fast. You don't got to worry about doing it yourself. It's extremely simple. You just got to set it up for the first time. Now, this video is for the S8 and S8 Plus, but of course, I'm going to have to show you something. If you go to settings right here and go to working mode, and it shows root. So if you do have root on your device, currently there's no root for the Snapdragon version of the S8 and S8 Plus, but there will be pretty soon. If your device is rooted, right here, rooted, and you select root, automatically this Greenify will run by itself, and it'll hibernate all the apps for you once you have root access. And that is when your device is just fully beasted out. This is when you get extremely great battery, phenomenal battery. This is what I used to use on my S7 Edge when it was rooted. And that's pretty much it for Greenify. You need to install it. It just helps your battery a lot. On to the next tip. Alright, this is the second tip. If you're anything like me, you like to get the most out of your device. And when I say most out of your device, I'm talking about the battery. This comes with a 3500 milliamp battery, 100 milliamps less than the S7 Edge. But with these tweaks I've been making, at the end of the video, you're going to get, hopefully at least, battery like I do. I get at least 6 hours of screen on time. Keep in mind, this is a Snapdragon version. How do I do this? Well, this is in the second tip. You want to go to your settings, go to wallpapers and themes. You want to have a very dark wallpaper. That's the first thing. You want a dark wallpaper because of this AMOLED display. With wallpapers that have black in them, the pixels turn off, so there's less pixels on the phone, which saves battery. It's almost like the always on display, because the always on display, it only turns on certain pixels just to display the time. So if we go over to the themes, also, as you can see, I have 3 themes. These are all dark themes. Themes that I have currently running right now is the black theme, the middle theme. I guess that's what you want to call it, but it's something black. Look at something black. I like the black theme. This looks nice for me. Looks simple, clean, and all my favorite color is also black. So, and it also goes with my whole UI because I also got this wallpaper. It's black, so it looks pretty clean overall on my device. And also another thing you want to do, since we're on this, I'll include it in this tip. I'm running a launcher. You will need a launcher. I'm not going to include it in the video because this is just tips and tricks. But if you do have a launcher on your device, in my case I have Nova, you can go to look and feel or something like that. It may be around in the settings in your launcher, and your icon themes. In this case I have the Durgon icon theme. If you don't know what an icon theme is, it's basically in the name. You could figure it out yourself, but I'm going to tell you anyways. It changes the look of your icons, so you can still identify your icons, but you could change it to how you want to look. So I'll just change it so I could show you. If you go to look and feel, go to icon theme, I'll change it to marshmallow. If you look at my icons now, these are the marshmallow themes that come with the phone originally. But as you can tell, it doesn't look too good with my my wallpaper, so I'm gonna change it back to Durgon, and it's gonna change. Now that looks a whole lot better with my wallpaper and my theme overall. So now on to the next tip. Alright, on to the next tip. Now I know I just talked about this. If you're against installing applications to help your device run smoother, then I guess don't do it. But in my opinion, this just helps totally. Now for those of you who are familiar with root and root apps, stuff like that, you're familiar with Titanium Backup. What Titanium Backup does, it allows you to uninstall system apps. People tend to use it for uninstalling bloatware, such as something that may come with your carrier. Now this application right here, Package Disabler Pro, it does not whatsoever require root. But here's the thing, here's the only con about it. It's a purchase in the Play Store, $199. Now I'm going to tell you, anything you ever purchased in the Play Store, or if you never purchased anything in the Play Store at all, majority of the people have already purchased something. Whatever you purchased, it's nothing compared to this. And this is $199. There's stuff in there that's like $7.99, stuff like that. This is $1.99 in an application that helps you get like an extra 2 or 3 hours of screen on time. For me personally, I got an extra at least an hour and a half of screen on time. I'm not exaggerating whatsoever, because there's stuff that when your device is not rooted, that there's stuff that runs in the background. Now if you press right here, it says disable all bloatware. Now I personally don't do that because I have what's it called, Microsoft OneNote. If you disable all bloatware, it disables OneNote. There's some things that it just disables, and you go looking for your apps. So if you just take like 5 minutes going through all your apps manually, and if you check these, you press this, let's say camera. Now I know this seems, I'm just showing you how well this works. As you could tell, my camera was right there. Well, you probably didn't tell, but I keep my camera right there. If I go to search apps and I go to camera, look, you don't see any camera. Now I'm going to go back to Package Disabler Pro. I'm going to uncheck this, go back, and it's still gone. But look, once I search camera, look, take a look at this. See that? Camera. It disables stock apps that you shouldn't even be allowed to disable. This Package Disabler Pro. You need to install it. I highly recommend it. Here's the thing about it. If you're running the SA and SA Plus, this video is about the SA and SA Plus, you need to install this version, Package Disabler Pro. Not Package Disable or anything like that. This one specifically, because I had to pay another $1.99 for this Package Disabler Pro, because the other Package Disabler Pro I used, it was the one with the brown symbol. I don't know if any of you ever used that. It did not work for Android 7.0, which is what the SA and SA Plus run on. It needs to be this one, because this is the only Package Disabler that works for SA and SA Plus that I've used. And I think it has to do with the software, because other people encountered this problem. But just install Package Disabler Pro. You can get an extra hour and a half of screen on time. On to the next tip. Now we're on to the next tip. Now, I like caring about my battery more than I do about the performance of my device. Now I know that sounded a little bit weird, but I like to get the most battery out of my device. I like to get the most juice. And if you head over to settings right over here and go to advanced features, this is all the stuff and features that this phone has. Now some people may use it, such as quick launch camera. You can open camera by quickly pressing the power key twice. This may be useful to some people, because if they like to take pictures or there's something happening, you know, that you might miss the moment of it, you know, you can quickly activate the camera. Yeah. But for me personally, this is stuff I don't need. This is something that I do not need on my device, such as direct call. This activates a proximity sensor. This is always running, stuff like that. You don't need this on. Some people don't pay attention. Now, I'm not going to go through every single one of these, but if you go to advanced features, read every single one of them. Some people don't even know there's features on this phone that they have on and they're not using. You need to turn a lot of this stuff off. The only thing I have on here is finger sensor gestures, where you can take your finger and the fingerprint sensor and bring down the notification center. I like that because it's useful, because this is the SA Plus. It's a pretty big device, so if I just bring it down my finger, I don't have to worry about stretching my other finger. That's useful to me. There's other things that are not useful to some people, which waste a lot of the battery. And I get around 6 hours of screen on time, like I've mentioned, so turning a lot of this stuff off benefits your battery. Now that's pretty much it for the advanced features, but on to the next tip. Now this is the next tip. I wouldn't necessarily consider this a tip, it just helps your device look better. Head over to your messages. Now just tap the 3 dots in the right corner. I'm not showing how to do this because of security reasons, stuff like that. Just go press on it, go to settings, and go to backgrounds from right here. Now if you look at it over here, you can select your own background to match the background of your device. If you don't want to match it, then don't match it. But personally, it looks good on the device. This is how the messages would look, and it matches exactly my wallpaper in the background. Or you could just change it to whatever you want. Just some people don't exactly know this for the SA or SA Plus, and I believe this is like this on the S7 and S7 Edge too. But that was just a quick tip. On to the next one. Alright, so this next one does involve installing an application, but I highly recommend this application. It is called Volume Slider. Let's head into it. So basically what this is, it's really simple. You just take your thumb or whatever finger and you just rub it across the device on the side, up and down. You could adjust your brightness, basically anything, and you could change the side. So I could also do the left side if I wanted to. You could change it to adjust the brightness, your ringer, your notification, your media, and all that. And you can, like I said, you could change the sides. Now, this wasn't exactly a tip. I just recommend it because it does improve my overall user experience. Now we're gonna be on to the next tip. Alright, so here's the next trick. People, including me, hate Bixby. Some people hate Bixby, some people like it. Now for the people who do hate Bixby and you're watching this video, this is what you want to do. You want to install Bxactions. Basically what it is, it allows you to remap the Bixby button to whatever you would like to. Now you can go to comfort mode or performance mode. From performance mode, you press the Bixby button, it goes to your home screen and launches whatever you have set. And in comfort mode, basically you can press the Bixby button in any application and it will just launch whatever you have it set to, or do. It has certain stuff. Personally, I just rather not use the Bixby button. So what you also can do is go to Package, Disable, or Pro, and manually scroll down, find the Bixby applications and anything of the add-ons with the Bixby, and you just disable them. And once you, which is what I have done personally, I don't like to use the Bxactions because I don't really need to set it to anything. You could set it also to Google Assistant, but it's not useful to me. So if you do what I did with Package, Disable, or Pro, I'm pressing the button. I don't really need to lie about pressing the button. Nothing's happening. But that's if you disable the Package, Disable, or Pro. So that is two ways to disable the Bixby. And I know people like to disable the Bixby because it's not useful, and some people can figure it out. And this is also a way I figured I'd show you guys with Package, Disable, or Pro, because some people don't mention this, and you can disable Bixby with this. So that's pretty much it for this tip. Alright, so here's the next tip. Basically what you want to do is head over to your settings, go to lock screen and security, and then from lock screen and security, head to app shortcuts. Now you may be wondering what this is or what I'm trying to show here. Now you see right here, when you first get the device, it shows, I believe, the phone on the bottom left and I think messages on the bottom right. For some people it looks horrible, but it took me a little while to figure out how to get rid of it. Now if I go to my lock screen, as you can tell, there's nothing on the bottom left or bottom right. All I need to do is unlock my device and go to whatever I need to. To some people it's useful, but I was just showing how to get this and get here because it took me a little while to figure out how to get rid of it, and I couldn't figure out whether or not I could get rid of it. So just to some people who were trying to figure it out, because I don't think a lot of people mention how to do this, but just press here and turn it off. I figured that'd be a quick, simple tip just to make your device look better. On to the next tip. Alright, so the next tip, basically you head over to settings. From settings you go to navigation bar, type in navigation bar and go to it. Now for some people who don't like just the regular home button, the menu button and the back button, the way it's set up like this, you could change it to back, home, and then the menu. So I don't know how many well, actually there's a lot of Android devices that are set up like this, and if you're coming from another Android device with this key setup and you're not used to how the Galaxy S8 is, you could just change it from over here. And also, for those you don't know, with the screen off, watch my finger, with the screen off, there's no home button here, but it's pressure sensitive. So if you press it, I'm pressing it with force, it turns on the screen. So you can also set it to how sensitive you want it. I don't know if any of you know that, but I figured I'd just show this because some people don't know it. So that's it for this tip. Alright, so here's the next tip. What you're going to want to do is head over to your settings, and from your settings go to Wi-Fi and connections, and when you're in your Wi-Fi you're going to want to go to your advanced settings. Now you're going to see smart network switch and network notification. Now you want to keep this on. Keep the smart network switch on. It's easier because once you head over to some place and it's already a saved Wi-Fi, it automatically switches. You just keep it on. Now what you want to turn off is hotspot 2.0 and network notification. If you know what this is, then you're probably going to want to keep it on because you know what it is and you know the use of it. Well, it basically, like it says right there, connect automatically to Wi-Fi access point that support hotspot 2.0. Some people don't really need it. Some people don't use it. I personally don't. And you want to turn off network notification. You want to turn this off because your device is consistently scanning for a Wi-Fi connection nearby when you're not connected to any connection whatsoever. Even if your data is on, it likes to search for Wi-Fi. So when your phone screen is off and I'm not connected to Wi-Fi, your device is constantly searching so that the next time you turn on your device, it says open Wi-Fi networks are available, like it usually shows. Personally, I don't need this because I don't need to be connecting to Wi-Fi at certain times. I could be using the cellular data, or I just may not want it on. So I figured I'd show that because it does help with your battery a little bit. And that's it for this tip. It was just a quick, simple tip. So here's another tip, and this is just a basic tip, just to ensure that your battery is you're saving as much juice as you can as possible. Just go to your notification center, swipe down again. just turn off the unnecessary stuff you really don't need on, like edge lighting. When you get a notification, it lights up. It wastes a little bit of battery. I personally don't need it. Turn off sync if you don't need sync, and location. These and NFC, of course, because these are the main things that do waste your battery. Now, if you're not using your location, like if you're at home or something like that, and you're not with Google Maps, it doesn't need to identify if there's any traffic in the area. Just turn off your location and turn it on only when you need it. So just get into a habit of turning stuff on and off to save as much battery as you can as possible. And of course, Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. And the Bluetooth kills your battery a lot, especially when you're actually using the Bluetooth itself when you connect it to a device. So just turn off things and turn on things when you need them and don't need them. That was just a basic tip. Figured I'd point that out. Next tip, head over to your settings, head over to device maintenance, and you see storage right here, head over to storage. Now, I just did this recently, so I don't really need to clear anything, but basically you get to clean all your temporary files, all your cache, stuff like that. And just do this like every day, because after every day, if you do this every day, it'll say clean at least like maybe 300 megabytes of stuff like that, all that cache that sits in the background. It just saves your space, it cleans your space. It is powered by CleanMaster, but Samsung wouldn't build something into the operating system that would harm your device. I used to use CleanMaster, but I believe that every day I would use the CleanMaster itself, the application, before they implemented this into the software, that it would say that I had 2 gigabytes of storage that in temporary files that I would need to clean. But I know personally, I did not have 2 gigabytes of files every hour that I needed to clean. I think it was over exaggerating how much stuff you have on the phone. And this over here, personally, when I use it, it doesn't over exaggerate. That just happens after a week. After a week of usage, it will say you have maybe 1.5 gigabytes of temporary files, stuff like that. That's more logical than every hour I have 2 gigs of temporary files I need to clean. This is why I use this, and it does help your device with your performance. It's pretty snappy, and it does help your battery too. So that was it for this tip. So the last and final tip is if you go to settings, go to full screen apps, and if you go all the way down here, these are the apps you're allowed to enable and disable to go into full screen mode. Basically what this means is that if like you install a certain application, because the screen is taller and the screen resolution for the SA and SA Plus, there's sometimes black bars at the top and bottom in certain applications. This allows you to zoom in the app kind of and get rid of the bars so it looks good on the display and it fits the display as if it looks like that application was made for this device. So I use this basically for all my applications, especially for video games I have, such as Mortal Kombat. It looks really good on the display. Figured I would just mention that. That's pretty much it for this tip. Alright, that's pretty much it for my Galaxy SA and SA Plus optimization video. Be sure to drop a like and subscribe for more upcoming videos. And now that I got my SA Plus, I'm going to be trying to upload more frequently. I'm out.